Welcome back to another episode of Palisade Radio. This is your host, Colin Cattell, and returning guest on the program today is fund manager Peter Zihlmann. He manages the Timeless Uranium Fund. We had him back on in May, and since May, despite the fact that uranium is still down 10% since May, the fund is up 35% since that time. More recent performance is even more exciting. We'll get into that. Peter, thanks for coming back on the program.
Thank you.
Peter, as you know, we called a bottom back in early December here at Palisade Research, Palisade Radio, and since then the uranium price has been on quite a tear. The uranium stocks have done even better as a leverage play against the price of uranium, and you are one of the very few people in the world who run a fund dedicated to just uranium. First off, let's start with just the performance numbers, because they're pretty amazing in terms of the bottom in uranium back in November and just for the first part of the year now.
Yes, when we spoke last November, the uranium price was about $27. So now it's down 10%. And over the same period, the fund, the NAV of the fund went up 34%. Actually, since we touched a low last November, it's up almost 70%. And since the beginning of the year, we are up 40%.
Peter, being in the uranium sector, especially having a fund dedicated to just uranium, is quite niche. It serves a very niche part of the market. I want to get a little bit of insight into how you decided to launch a fund directly for uranium, and maybe a little bit about your background that led into that.
Well, the background, I have been a portfolio manager all my life. And, I don't remember exactly how I came across uranium, but when I went into it, I obviously became very excited, and that's why I created this fund, which focuses on uranium only and on companies on all levels of production, pre-production, and exploration.
Excellent. Well, I want to, before we get into kind of some particular stories here, the uranium bull market has been quite strong since November. I think we could say without a doubt that you think this is indeed a bull market. But for the past few days, a little bit of a setback in terms of the price of uranium. I think we're down probably about 10 or 15%, and many of the associated stocks have pulled back. Are you concerned at all at this point?
No, I'm not concerned. I mean, this may go on some time, but the fact is, the fundamental fact is that, the whole world is creating demand. China is building reactors, India is building reactors, Russia is building reactors, and the demand is steadily increasing. On the other side, the supply will be limited because almost no company can actually make money with the present uranium price, and so will be facing an inevitable supply crunch in the near future, and the uranium price has to go higher. There's no way around it. So I'm very bullish long term, but I don't know in the short term exactly when we will reach a normal level at which companies can make a profit.
As you know, Peter, we recently threw a conference down in Belize, and our keynote speaker there was David Cates, the CEO of Denison Mines, as well as Uranium Participation. He called what we're going into now a uranium supercycle, which is exciting for somebody running a fund. It's almost hard to not call what happened from 2000 to 2007 a supercycle, just based on the move of the commodity. Do you see this being a multi-year bull market that could have the potential to put the bull markets of the past in uranium to shame?
Yeah, I think so, because the uranium price now is around $24, and it has to go to $60, so many companies can actually make money. And so it's inevitable, as I said before, that the price has to go up, and probably $60 will not be enough. It has to be much higher to satisfy the demand. You know, the utilities will have to buy around 1 billion pounds of uranium in the future, and the supply is simply not there. So for me, the price has to go up, and probably it could go as high as the previous high or even higher. And the stocks will do extremely well.
Since the low back in November, you said that the fund is up 70%, which is really quite remarkable. Maybe we can get into what type of a proxy for investors that the global Timeless Uranium Fund represents. So maybe a few of your holdings, or at least your overall idea on how you're allocating the capital.
Well, we cover the whole sector from production, pre-production, and exploration. And obviously, at the present time, exploration is extremely exciting. And when we look at our portfolio, and when we look at the stocks which actually helped to produce this performance, it's mainly the explorers which have contributed. For example, the best performing stock is obviously NextGen, which we bought long time ago, and which is up more than 500%. Then another one is Berkeley Energy, which is up 200%. Then Laramide, which is up 180%, and Plateau Uranium, which is up 60%. And on top of it, we chose a year ago a very small company called Appia Energy, which is now up 700%. So the performance really comes from the exploration companies.
700% in just a year. I believe that's going to be your best performing stock, you just said, and also maybe the largest position at this point in the fund. Talk to us a little bit about why you think Appia has moved so much and why you still like it.
Well, Appia is a special story because it has a dual focus. On one side, they have a big project in Elliott Lake, where in the past 360 million pounds of uranium were produced. That is, let's say, more than 20 years ago. And in 1996, they actually stopped producing because the price was too low. Now, pre-Fukushima, they wanted to go back into production, but then Fukushima happened. At that time, Appia was actually a private company. And then after Fukushima, when the stock was listed, a lot of investors wanted to get rid of the stock, and the stock fell to almost nothing. But the company has not been inactive. On one side, the Elliott Lake, once the price of uranium is right, will have a lot of value, because they not only have a huge amount of uranium, on top of it they have rare earth elements which will be very valuable. But in the short term, what actually pushes the stock and will push the stock in the near future is their properties they have at the Beska Basin. There they have a geologist in the name of James Sykes, which has been working for the past 10 years with companies which together have found about 350 million pounds of uranium. And he has been at the center of, and to some extent also responsible to find these huge deposits. I mentioned before, NextGen is one case which has done extremely well, and where this geologist has been at the center of the project and has contributed to finding this deposit.
Well, Peter, the performance of Appia has certainly been exceptional in context of the market. Do you expect the exploration companies to continue to outperform the sector moving forward?
Yeah, if you take NextGen, which has a market cap of 1 billion now, and if you compare to Appia Energy, which has a market cap of 20 million, and if you here you have a geologist who has all the experience to find the next big deposit, and you invest in a person who has the knowledge and wants to repeat what he has done up to now, where he has been extremely successful. So actually, if and Appia is going to start drilling, very shortly, and if they come up with good results, the performance could be absolutely phenomenal. And I think the real thing is that what excites me, they have the right people to do it.
Peter, well, it's been a great start to the bull market for you. I know it's getting late there in Malta, and I appreciate you coming back on the program. For investors that are interested in looking at a proxy for uranium, not too many of them exist. It takes quite a bit of work as an individual to build your own portfolio out, and Palisade itself does not offer any type of service for people interested in building out this type of a portfolio. We don't manage people's money, and that's why we have great people like Peter come on the program. Peter, your website, I believe, is timeless-funds.com. And so for people interested in getting more information, is that the best way for them to reach out?
Yeah, correct. I mean, if you just if you go to Google and you type in uranium fund, most likely, actually, we are the only one that comes up. And there they can go to a presentation, which also explains the whole why the uranium price should go a lot higher. And it also explains the strategy of the fund. And there's also a page how to invest and where to go to. The best thing is to go through a bank and tell them, buy the fund. The information is there.
Excellent. Well, Peter, thank you for coming back on the program. Looking forward to having you back with higher uranium prices.
Thank you very much.
Think you understand the junior mining sector, and you think that the participants in the mining sector, junior mining sector, are good people and kind people, hit the bid.
How violent that term could be, it actually could be quite violent. It could be a rip-your-face-off uranium rally.
And the world is always going to need raw materials. It's going to need copper and gold and nickel and so forth.
Totally destabilized. Hey, troll, did you hear what's going on in Yemen? Or are you too stupid?